It's travel, it's logistics, it's getting there on time. You know, my director is now saying to me, come on, come on, come on, we've got to do the final shot of the day. We've got to get on.
Right, okay.
It's great.
It's fine, yeah.
It's great. It's very clever.
Well, we're here in Malaysia for 2 days, following the royal couple, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, as part of their Far East tour. We came from Singapore, where we were for a couple of days, and then we arrived here yesterday morning, and we've been kind of running ever since. It's been incredibly busy. And we came here to the Star to get a sort of journalistic view on what local media think about the royal couple and their attitude to the tour and what they think it means to Malaysia. It's always really interesting to see someone else's organisation. Malaysia is a different country to Britain, despite our cultural similarities and history in common and so on. But there are such similarities as well. You know, the fact that you're all sitting there and it's quite messy and there's the football stuff around, and it's a working environment that I recognise very much. And also the multimedia aspect of what you do I think is very interesting too. You know, we at ITN, which is independent television news where I work, the social media is increasingly a part of what we do, and we now have, of course, a whole division that does that. And that wasn't even the case 5 years ago. So I think, you know, we're a worldwide media now, that we all are so similar in what we cover and what we do, and we feed off each other. You know, 10 years ago, what happened in Malaysia would have been foreign. Yep. Now it's a click of a button away. For us, what we're doing is we're dipping in and out of the royal progress, if you like, but we're interviewing different people along the way. So we're trying to get a sort of broader picture of how the couple are being viewed by the local populations as they go through their tour. I think with a tour of any VIP, be they a politician or a royal, whatever, there is very strict rules on what you can do and what you can't do, and you have to very much adhere to the security regulations in every country you go to. You have your designated positions as media, you know how that works. You are always trying as a journalist to do something a little bit beyond that because you want to beat the guy next to you. And certainly as a documentary, as I said, we're taking a step back and trying to observe. So in a way we don't always want to be just within the press pen doing as we're told, but equally you have to be aware of the security implications of doing things, so you have to be very careful. You know, I think it's so difficult to compare the William and Kate era with the Diana era, and I was thinking when I was watching the crowds today, everybody had a mobile phone and everyone was filming or snapping with it. That wasn't the case when Diana was alive. There was no social media, was there? I mean, it's almost impossible to remember those times, but there was no social media, so it was much more controlled, and it was just a question of taming the newspapers and taming the television news to get some control of the output. Now, I don't think you can tame the coverage because, you know, the British media might say they're not going to print topless photos of Kate, and your newspaper may say that they're not going to, but someone out there is going to put it on the internet, and then everyone can see it. So there is no control anymore. Is it more than just the glamour and the celebrity? Is it something deeper than that? Is it something more significant? And I think it's a combination of all sorts of things. I think they're doing, the royal watchers love them. And there was a girl today who is obsessed with Kate and she follows her everywhere and she has an engagement ring like hers and she said, I just love her, I just love her. So there's that element to it. There are all the photographers who are taking photographs and hoping they'll see a photograph of a beautiful dress or something. So there's the fashion side of it. But I think there is something more significant, and I think it's the trade and commerce aspect of the tour that we're looking at and we find so interesting. And certainly speaking to one of the organisers at the hospice yesterday, he was a little bit disappointed because he said all people are talking about is Kate's dress and how pretty she looks and how beautiful. And he said, but these are real causes, and I'm hoping that people will look at what we do here and actually will really get some knowledge and some education from it, and it might help to change things. And it's really interesting watching how the local people view the royal couple. In Singapore they were very polite and they stood back a little bit. And in KL, and particularly in Central Park this morning, they were absolute, there was real hysteria. I've never seen anything like it. No, actually, when I went to Canada last year, I saw real royal mania in action. That was extraordinary. But this has been so far quite polite. we've met lovely people. Everyone's been so kind. Everyone's been so interested, and it's good. It makes me want to come back to KL because it's my first time here.